The psychology of making money is not about intelligence. It's not about hustle. And it's not about how much money you earn. It's about the subconscious beliefs, the behaviors, and the emotional patterns that drive every financial decision you make, often without you even realizing it. Today, I'm going to break this into 7 psychological principles that determine whether people build wealth or stay stuck. Principle number 1: your money behavior is driven by money scripts you didn't choose. If money feels stressful or confusing or out of reach, it's probably because you are operating by a set of rules that you never consciously chose. From a young age, all of us develop what I call money scripts. They are deeply ingrained beliefs that we have about money that we typically learned in childhood, but they drive all of our financial behaviors. These messages come from our parents, from our families, from our cultures, from our neighborhoods. Things like money is stressful, or money is scarce, or rich people are evil or greedy, or you only can make money or get wealthy by taking advantage of others, or money's not important, or money and stuff is the most important thing in life. These money scripts live below our conscious awareness, but they feel like facts, they feel like reality. And we tend to surround ourselves with people who have the same money scripts. That's why we're all having a similar experience when it comes to money. And because they're invisible, because we don't talk about money, because we're not even sure we have these beliefs, it can be really challenging to make big financial changes. You can earn more money, you can get a raise, you can get a financial windfall. But if you have the belief that you don't deserve money, or that money is scarce, or that it's dangerous, you're going to sabotage yourself. You're going to undercharge for your services or your products. You're going to overspend. You're going to procrastinate taking action in your financial benefit. You're going to avoid looking at your financial numbers. I want to be very clear here. There's nothing wrong with you. Your behavior makes perfect sense given your conditioning and your money scripts. But awareness is critical to change. You will never be able to out-earn a belief system that's working against you. And the fact is that people who are operating at a higher financial level than you are, whether that's higher income or higher net worth, they have different beliefs around money. And if you want to achieve what other people are achieving, you need to study how they think about money. Principle number 2: making money requires emotional regulation, not just discipline. If willpower actually worked, nobody would be in debt. Most people think that financial success is all about discipline. Just control yourself and just stick with the plan, right? But psychology shows us that our money decisions are emotional first, rational later. As a matter of fact, we make a lot of decisions in our lives emotionally, and then we rationalize why we did it later. So, we spend money to soothe our stress, to make us feel better when we're feeling down. We avoid thinking about money or looking at our bills because it makes us feel anxious or upset. We impulse buy because we want to feel a sense of control or a sense of status or a sense of emotional relief. If you do not learn to pay attention to your emotions and find ways to deal with them in appropriate ways, money will become your coping mechanism and you're going to blow it. This is why so many high earners still live paycheck to paycheck. More money does not fix emotional spending. It just amplifies it. Now, wealthy people and people who go from being poor to becoming wealthy, it's not like they're emotionless. They're emotionally skilled. They've learned how to manage their emotions. They can sit with some discomfort. They can delay gratification. They can tolerate fear, uncertainty, or boredom without the desire to spend to make themselves feel better. Making money long term means that you can feel your feelings without reacting. Principle number 3: your identity sets an invisible identity ceiling. You will never consistently earn more money than what feels comfortable to a person like you. Every person carries an internal identity when it comes to money. This is who you feel you are financially. It sets a financial comfort zone, an area in which that's where you feel good. Even if it's not much money, and even if you're suffering financially, it feels normal. It feels right, even when it's wrong. Maybe you just see yourself as someone who struggles, who comes from a family who's always struggled with money. Maybe you just see yourself, that's who you are. Maybe you see yourself as somebody who's bad with money, or maybe you just think of yourself as not really a money person. That type of identity will create a financial ceiling. And when income rises above that comfort level, anxiety is going to kick in and you're going to find a way to sabotage. You're going to increase your spending. You're going to have lifestyle inflation. You're going to make a bad deal, or you're going to miss out on opportunities all around you. This is not laziness, it's psychological homeostasis. Your mind is trying to keep you safe by keeping you familiar. The solution isn't trying to bang yourself over the head and change your behaviors. First, you have to change your identity, who you are around money. You do that by changing how you see yourself subtly over time. It usually doesn't happen overnight. And not from a bunch of self affirmations that you don't really believe. One of the most helpful things for me when it came to creating a new identity around money was to study the mindsets and habits of millionaires because I wanted to become a millionaire. I was tired of being broke. I was tired of being poor. I wanted to think like a millionaire thinks. Then you can start climbing the socioeconomic ladder. Study people who are where you want to be or who are at least a step or two ahead of you. Then you can be someone who tracks their money. You can be someone who pays themselves first. You can be someone who sets financial goals and automates achieving those goals. Once you study who you want to be, once you embrace that identity, that's when your behaviors can become consistent and you can achieve your goals. Principle number 4, paying yourself first rewires your brain for wealth. The moment you stop treating saving as something that's optional or something that you're going to do at the end of the month, that's the moment that your money starts working for you. Most people try to save what's left over. That's why most people never save. Paying yourself first isn't a financial trick, it's a psychological intervention. It flips the order of importance. It tells your brain that your future matters now. When money is automatically moving to your savings or your investings from your checking account before you can even touch it, you're going to remove decision fatigue. You're going to make becoming wealthy automatic. You're going to remove temptation. You're going to remove self-negotiation where you're talking yourself out of money. This creates safety, and safety changes behavior. People who pay themselves first, they have less financial stress, even if they're making the same amount of money. Because that progress towards achieving your goals, it makes you feel like you are aligned. It makes you feel like you have integrity when it comes to money. It makes you feel much calmer because you're achieving your goals. This is how you build wealth without relying on motivation or willpower. That fails. Quick pause here. If this is resonating with you, let me know in the comments. Throw in the word mindset. I read all the comments and I want to make sure that this is connecting with you. Principle number 5. Chasing status is one of the biggest wealth destroyers. Trying to look rich is one of the fastest ways to stay broke. Human beings are social creatures. We are constantly comparing ourselves to others. But modern life has made it so much worse. Social media is showing us the highlight reels of everyone else's pseudo life. Luxury starts to feel normal. We start to feel like we're lacking if we're not in a private jet. And of course, nobody's showing you their debt. So many people are not spending for necessity or even for joy. They're spending because they want to belong. Fancy cars, designer clothes, big houses, luxury vacations. These become proof of our worth. But the problem is that status and chasing that status, there's no finish line. It never ends. The problem is that status has no finish line. There's always going to be someone who seems like they're having a better life than us that's going to make us feel like we lack, like we're living in scarcity. So this is what most people are doing. They're trying to outspend each other to feel like they have more status. That's not what wealthy people are doing. They're behind the scenes stacking bills. People who build real wealth are focused on freedom, not appearances. They are thinking very differently. When they see social media, they are laughing at it. They realize it's a joke. They realize that people are spending their last dime and racking up credit card debt to try to look rich. Meanwhile, they're actually getting rich behind the scenes. There's been so many studies done on this, but we fall prey to it. We see these luxury lifestyles. We pick out these crazy examples of celebrities who have a bunch of money. I'm telling you right now, and I work with many, many people who started out having a lot of money, and they're more vulnerable to this when they make that money fast. You don't know. A lot of those celebrities, a lot of those people, they are burning through their money. And I know you've heard stories of people who've had millions of dollars and have lost it all. So many people you see on social media right now are in the process of losing it all. Don't fall for the lie that that's how rich people live their lives. That's not how most people do it. This brings me to principle number 6. This is so important. Making money requires an internal locus of control. The moment that you believe money and your life is out of your control, it becomes exactly that. An external locus of control tells you that your life and the results you're getting in life and your finances, it's because of luck. It's because of external circumstances. It's because of the economy, your boss, your crazy ex, or the system. And then what do? Well, you don't do anything because those are other people and you can't control them, right? That's what makes this so seductive. You feel better about yourself, but you get nowhere. An internal locus of control really puts the onus and the focus on you. It says that your actions matter most, not what's happening in all these imperfect systems or with imperfect people. It's you. You're the one who can make the difference. This doesn't mean that you're denying reality. It just means that you're choosing responsibility and personal power over helplessness. People with an internal locus of control, they make more money. They have more net worth. They are more likely to save, to invest, to negotiate higher salaries, to take calculated risks. These are the winners in our society. Lots of studies have shown this. Cultivate an internal locus of control where you're focusing on what you can influence, not the things that you can't influence. When you take responsibility, that's when you can become wealthy. It's not about blame. It's not about making excuses. It's about taking radical responsibility for your life. This brings us to principle number 7. Wealth is built through boring consistency, not excitement. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. If it feels exciting, run. People want money to feel thrilling. They want to think of big wins, winning the lottery, fast growth, life-changing moments. But building real wealth is actually boring. It involves consistent saving. It involves automatic investing. It involves living below your means and repeating these simple behaviors for years. Psychologically, this is hard because our brains crave novelty. But boring systems beat emotional decisions every single time. The people who win financially, they're not necessarily smarter, they're steadier. They trust systems more than moods. But let me leave you with this. Money isn't just math, it's emotion, it's identity, it's your money scripts. If you want to change your financial life, don't start with the numbers. Start with a deep psychological awareness of who you are. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be consistent. Figure out what matters to you most. What are your top 3 or 5 or 7 financial goals? Why do they matter to you? Then set up systems that take willpower out of the formula. You automate your success. Don't rely on your moods and what's going to happen at the end of the month. And then you're going to start achieving those goals. Or after you get your first bonus or your first raise, don't wait. Start today. If you want to dive deeper into this work, check out the description where I have some resources for you. I'm Dr. Brad Klontz, and I'll see you next time.